Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. Welcome to Oak Lodge, my woodland retreat. My name is Ash. I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. And today is the first day that I'm spending in the woodlands this autumn, enjoying the splendours of nature as we transition certainly into the autumn, getting closer to winter. It comes so quickly, doesn't it? This is my first fire at my crucible here in the outdoors. And today I'm going to talk about how to defeat boredom, because we are fortunate without doubt to live in a time where life is very easy, isn't it? Now I know what you're thinking. It doesn't bloody seem easy to me. Sometimes it seems very hard. But let's just take a moment to reflect on just how easy our lives have become compared to previous generations, where living like this was the norm, not something that they did to avoid boredom. In one short generation, excess has become our enemy. Everywhere you look, people are fat. I'm using the F word, I'm not pretending otherwise. Obesity has become the norm. 64% of people in the UK are either overweight or obese. So in a generation, we've gone from a time where people struggled to put enough food on the table to where food has become an enemy. Not just food, but alcohol, excessive use of prescription drugs, painkillers. These were things people struggled to get. Now people are taking too many of them as a recreational activity. It's amazing how one generation has changed our outlook on life. And even things like hot showers, things that we absolutely take for granted. Most people will take 1 or 2 hot showers per day. They'll turn on the machine, boom, you get, boiling hot water on demand. Just 2 generations ago, both of my grandparents were involved, or sets of grandparents, were working in the coal mining industry. And they would come home from work, filthy black with coal dust, and they would have to take a bath in a hot tin bath in the middle of the combined living area of the house, and they would have to bathe in that tin bath with hot water which was boiled on a coal-fired stove in that room. And that was how they struggled to keep themselves clean. And now, unlimited hot water on demand. So it stands to reason that with the daily challenges of life removed, we find far more available time on our hands. And many of us, and I will include myself with this totally, struggle with boredom from time to time. I've been on a journey to defeat boredom throughout my life, because I'm one of these guys who just wants to do something all the time. And today I'm going to give you the tips that have helped me, helping me to consign boredom to something that other people have to deal with. So, let's begin. Now, the first thing I'm going to suggest to you is really quite straightforward, because you're probably already doing something in your life which can be valuable to you. And I'm going to say that you need to lean more deeply into your existing hobbies, because before we go charging off, all right, and try and track down some new thing that we want to do, some new sort of panacea which can solve our boredom problem, let's take a second look at the things that we're already doing in our lives, reevaluate how much time we're putting into them, and perhaps they're things that we can expand upon to make life more interesting for us so we're not bored. So let's think about things like, well, it doesn't matter what it is actually. You could be, your hobby could be model aeroplanes, right? You might be part of a model aeroplane club. Look a bit more deeply into, and I'm just using this as an example, by the way. I'm not saying anything about, I'm not a model aeroplane enthusiast myself, but it just sprung to mind. If you enjoy that sort of world, maybe your model aeroplane club has a committee, people who run it, somebody who arranges the events and the like. Are you in a position that instead of being bored, you can commit time, more time, to that hobby that you are involved with? Maybe it's the football club. Somebody needs to run the finances. They may need a treasurer, and you might have skills in that. Maybe you want to just help a little bit further, do the kit, be the guy who does the laundry. I know some of these jobs are unpleasant, but somebody has to do them. It is a key cog in the machine of making hobbies get along, tick, work. And maybe your avenue to defeating boredom could be doing more of what you're already doing. Simply like that, just taking more of a leadership role, getting involved, sticking your hand up sometimes when they say, any volunteers? Could be you, could be the way that you get rid of it. Maybe it can be something a bit more creative. Perhaps you like reading. I love reading. I credit reading as one of my big self-development activities in life. And you might think to yourself, okay, well, I like reading. How do I take that to the next level? Open up the internet and type in local book clubs. Find a local book club. I've become involved in book clubs over the last 12 months. I tell you what, it's revolutionized my enjoyment of reading, because I'm no longer just reading for passive entertainment. I'm reading for a purpose. And it becomes something quite interesting. And of course, when you go to a book club, there's social engagement as well. New friends to be made, because everybody in the room in a book club has read the same book. They've got something in common. It's a great bringer together of people. And let me tell you, if you look online and you can't find a book club, here's the next opportunity for you. Create one yourself. It's quite easy to start a book club. And I'm using a book club merely as an example. Maybe you've got a passion for photography or walking or whatever, right? If a club doesn't exist in your community, let me tell you, if you're looking for it, that means there is a gap for such a thing. So start one up. Put an ad in the local Facebook page. Who's interested in starting a book club in this area? And boom, off you go. You're up and running. You've started on your journey to defeating boredom by leaning into a hobby or activity that you are already involved with. Now, obviously, the natural follow-on for that, and my second tip, is begin a new hobby. Because if you found yourself heavily committed to work, you've had a family, life is a constant juggle to keep everything up in the air. And you come to a point in life, as I have come in midlife, where you think, hang on, kids are older, job's behind me, or happy in the job, I don't have to work so hard at it. Now I can focus on the hobbies that perhaps I already have, but I didn't put a lot of time into. Or maybe the ones which I touched on when I was younger and always thought to myself, I'll come back to them. Like, learning to play the piano or the guitar. Just because many years have passed since you initially thought of that and maybe spent a bit of time in it. Get up in the attic and dig out that old guitar, or whatever it is, stamp collecting, or there could be any number of things, hill walking, reading, anything at all which is currently in your portfolio of skills, but you haven't had the time to invest in them. Maybe you've always wanted to try golf, but work always got in the way. My wife, for instance, right? She's in her mid-50s, same as me, never played golf in her life. Earlier this year, she enrolled on a ladies' golf course that were a number of lessons on how to get involved with and enjoy golf. Now she's a member of a golf club about 3 months down the road, and last week she competed in her first golf tournament. And she did okay, she enjoyed it. And she has made new friends. So a hobby that she always wanted to do and touched on earlier in life, but never really found the time until now. If you are feeling a little bit bored and there are hobbies there in your background that you toyed with in the past, now's the time. Like me, I started a YouTube channel when I was 49 years of age. I'm now 54 and YouTube plays quite a big part in my life. It's introduced me to a whole new friendship group, an income stream, and myriad activities that I would never have dreamed would have come my way. It's never too late, whether you're young, whether you're old. Actually spend some time on the hobby that you have now, and it will help put boredom in the rearview mirror. Now, my next tip for you is actually about setting some goals, because that will help you control your boredom as well. Having something to strive for in life gives you direction and purpose. And I know through my work as a well-being trainer for a major charity, where we have access to a lot of research, and that research will definitely show that people who are driven, who have goals in life, who have ambitions and things they want to achieve, they are happier, they have a sense of purpose, and as a result, they suffer with less stress. They are not just going forward into the chaos of life. There's a plan. And when you have a plan, you feel more in control, you're happier generally in your life. And that can help you stave off these feelings of boredom. Now, it can be a professional plan, it can be a personal plan. But when it comes to hobbies, there are many things you can do to get those goals. I mean, for a start, right, my hobbies that I'm involved with, YouTube, bushcrafting, walking, reading, I use my journal pretty much always in front of me in a video. My journal is what I use to set my goals with my daily journaling. And I've done videos on journaling, which helps to show how I do that. But keeping something written down helps me to have focus and direction. And another thing it does, it prompts me when I look ahead and I'll think, oh, okay, I haven't got much coming on in the next few days, the next few weeks, the next few months. Every so often, I'll sit down in front of, the internet, and I will do some horizon scanning. I will look ahead and see things that are coming up that I'd like to attend. I mean, just this morning, I was looking through things which are within my field of interests that I might wish to go to, and I noticed in a couple of weeks' time, it's the London Pen Show. Now, I'm very interested in fountain pens and, the writing experience because I like journaling. So I thought to myself, I'll write that down. If I find myself at a loose end that weekend, I'll catch the train up and visit the London Pen Show. And by horizon scanning for things that I will enjoy, I populate my diary, my journal, with things that I would like to do in the future. That way, I've always got something to look forward to, something interesting to attend and get involved with. It's the way to keep boredom in the background. Now, the next thing I do when I find myself with a prolonged period of downtime and boredom starting to creep in, what I tend to do is invest that downtime into physical activity. I've discovered through life that physical activity is not only an ally to my body. As I get older, of course, you want to stay fit, you want to keep the weight off, stay mobile, but also it's amazing for my mental well-being, because when the body is active and engaged and doing something, it actually clears the mind. It makes you feel a lot better mentally as well. Now, regular physical exercise, it reduces stress, improves your mood, gives you a strong sense of accomplishment as well. Because when you've been to the gym, you feel you've done something worthwhile. I'll be going to the gym this afternoon, right? And I haven't been for 2 days because I've been busy, working, doing things. I know I not really want to go to the gym, but when I walk out of those doors of the gym in the afternoon, I will feel great because I'll have invested my time in something positive and practical. And it makes me feel better. Now, if you want to take that to another level and turn it into something more of a organized activity, of course, there are things you can do to help keep that boredom at bay and your engagement fully connected. You could join a sports league, all right? So maybe you like squash or a running club or a darts group, whatever your level of mobility and physical activity is, there will be something out there you can get involved with. Not only does it help you stay fit and mentally connected, but again, it will help you meet people, which is one of the big things. The more connections we have in people, the happier we tend to be as people. You could try something new. So even if you go to the gym, all right? In my gym, I go to a sort of well-being type gym rather than a heavy-duty bodybuilding gym. And there's always some sort of new workout coming in. Pilates, some sort of cycle aerobics, yoga, things like that, And I always look at the notice board thinking, well, that's not my cup of tea, but I've never tried it. Perhaps it's something that could connect with me, because if other people like doing it, it stands to reason it must be a fairly interesting activity, could be something to get involved with. And the other thing you can do is set yourself some goals. We talked about goal setting, but make it specific about fitness. So you can enroll, so we go to the extreme, you can enroll on a marathon or a half marathon or a 10K or a 5K. If you are currently sat on a couch and you have never done any running at all, the least you can do is download an app on your phone, Couch to 5K, and it will take you through a process of going from no activity to some physical activity. And before you know it, you can be taking part in park runs on weekends. Then you can move up to 10K running. Not only has your health improved, mentally and physically, you're meeting new people, you've got goals in life, you've got something to do, and boredom is something you used to have in your past when you didn't do this activity that you've taken on. So staying physically active is a great way of investing in yourself mental and physical. And also, boredom, what the hell is that? That's something other people deal with. Now, the last thing I suggest that could be useful for you is to get learning again. Because many of us, we consign our learning years to when we were young. And actually, people told us what to learn back then. But as we get older and we have wider interests that we've passed through in life, you may wish to have a educational renaissance in your middle years. I know quite a few people now who have gone to university and study for degrees and masters as they've got older, because things which never interested them when they were young have certainly hoved into view, and now it's something that they've become experts in through later life learning. And there's loads of ways you can do that. Obviously, there's online courses you can sign up for in every conceivable subject in the world. And you can do that online, you can do Zoom tutoring, there's loads of things like that. And we're not even talking there about community colleges, local further education establishments, where you can find a myriad of subjects. I mean, I went back to college when I was 37 to study again in my local community in night classes, and I found it a thoroughly enjoyable experience to top up my knowledge from when I was young. And it can be, inexpensive as well, and it brings you into the orbit of a whole new batch of people who are learning towards the same subject exactly the same as you. It might be you've been traveling abroad for many years. You might go to Spain every year on your holiday. Why not learn the language? There's all these things like, what's it called, Duolingo, Rosetta Stone, apps and various other resources that you can learn a language from the comfort of your own home, or even enroll on courses in colleges and things like that. For me, I read widely as my greatest tool for self-development, and I do this thing called structured reading. So this year I've been learning about the Arnhem battle in the Netherlands, and I've read all of the biographies of all of the key players, from the top general to the local commanders in the field, and it has been an eye-opener for me on a topic which I was vaguely aware of, but because there's an anniversary, an 80th anniversary of that activity this year, it has allowed me to deeply invest in that subject. And although I wouldn't confess ever to being an expert on it, it's given me an insight into a part of history that I would never have actually come across before. So things like that can be useful for you to keep boredom on the back burner. So there we go, folks. Those are the things that I do. I do a few other things as well. You might have heard me talking on my channel about I make a vow to myself to do something that I find uncomfortable every month, socially, whatever. Yesterday, I went to a country and western festival in a local community, which I'd never been to before. It made me feel a little out of my comfort zone, but I learned from the experience, and it was very, very interesting. You could do something like that too. Just set yourself the commitment to do one thing each month which makes you feel a little uncomfortable. It can be anything. Go to a book club, go to a different sports centre, whatever. But little things like that make all the difference in the development of your life. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, like the video, subscribe for more. Ask me a question. Maybe you've got something you're trying to overcome in life. Ask Uncle Ash, and I'll try and give you my observations and thoughts based on my life experience to help you on your journey. You can do that by dropping something into the comments or send me an email. I'm the only person who reads those emails. I read them with total discretion and no judgment. Email address is on the screen. If you want to support the channel, you could buy me a coffee, one-off tip, or you could join my Patreon group, and those guys get an additional video at least once a week, maybe more, and you can find out how to get involved with that by following the link on the show notes below. So until the next time, stay busy, no boredom, and I'll see you again very soon.